What's up? It's me. Finally, again. I'm back. Yeah. Remember? Me. Famous and prestigious, very known and very well known and established channel, ToniLarios. Remember? Yeah. I'm back. With CDEC. Remember CDEC? Yes, CDEC, right? Oh, finally. Yes, more CDEC. You've been waiting for that, like, for the last, like, 8 months or something. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure you've just been aching for more Sidek because you know him very well. You know all of his shenanigans and his lore. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll get you up to date. I was actually trying to do like I had the title for the longest time, for a couple of weeks now. I had the title and everything. It was going to be Hunting for the Lolcows, or better yet, the Lolcow Hunt of 2024. For whatever reason, it just sounded funny, sounded cool. I wanted to do like a lot of like lolcow shit in one video, and I want to cover Cyrex. I've been like very interested on like on Noba. Daniel Larson is off the wagon now. To an extent, that's good. I never did a Daniel Larson video. Christian is up to like shenanigans. So what happened? He made a live stream, boring ass live stream. He had those pictures, those Bigfoot pictures. Doesn't matter really. A small part of me likes it that way. Chris is kind of over now. He's gone. Whatever. Just like be gone, Chris. Let us have the whatever happened. All the whole like series up to the very season finale. That was the jail saga, and then all this new reboot, this whole revival. You introduce new characters. You have this revival where the main cast is not in its prime anymore. You know, they're like you see that they're forcing it. It never works. Trust me, never works. Sitcoms never work like that. You can't just bring back Seinfeld and expect just everything to be like as good as in the 90s, right? You can't. That's not gonna happen. It doesn't work. To an extent, it's good. Chris should just stay off the radar, stay out of trouble, and just live the rest of his life. However, he ends up living the rest of his life, I feel. And also, it gives me. I need a lolcow that is not like viciously online, like 24/7, because I can't keep up. I can't. I've realized that I cannot keep up. I can't fucking be following the trail of somebody online all the time. I have a life. I have, you know, no. I wanted to cover Cyrex in this video. That happened. Like, look at how much fucking lore I have to keep up with. I was trying to. Look, you can see it right there. And look at all the things that happen. He's like, I can't keep up. I can't. I thought I was going to, until I opened a channel and I started to try to cover lolcows, and I realized that I'm just not capable of. I hate being online too much. I hate it. I mean, that's kind of a dumb statement because we're all online. If I'm watching YouTube like 10 hours a day, I'm online. But you know what I mean. I hate social media, and I hate following other people's lives. I don't give a fuck about anybody else in that regard. I don't give a fuck about anybody else's life, whatever they're doing, as long as they're doing something so outrageously ill and morbid that I want to know. I want to see. But regardless of that, I don't care. And even if it's something revoltingly obscene and morbid, and I'm fascinated, I still get exhausted by trying to keep up with their bullshit every fucking minute of the day. I can't. I don't know how other people do it. I can't do it. So what was this video about? I lost my train of thought. What was I talking? Why did I start it? Yes, exactly. And what? Oh my god! I I. So, anyways, no Cyrex video. I have a lot to keep up with. Last time he was having this conversation, he was like, Marty was uh fake buddy trolling him for like the 50th time, and Cyrex was actually falling for it. And they were having this conversation about a contest or whatever, and like trying to prove that like they were trolling him, and like Marty was like taking part of like defending him against like everybody. I don't know. I don't know. It was strange. And then like, cause I didn't know the backstory of that. And then
1,000%, I will back off.
They were trying to prove that Marty was guilty of like trying to murder Cyrex. And he didn't want to prove, he didn't want to show the bullet thing and whatever. Same old story that like boring old fucking storyline for us since like I don't know how many years now. And then the music contest and whatever. Before I knew it, they're enemies again. No shit. And blah blah blah. Showing scabs. I remember seeing like a shocking image of like the full like screen of the scabs there, and he was saying that they were getting better, and he actually showed him, and I was like, ugh, and it was like a jump scare, and it just came out of nowhere, and like he's dripping saliva, and and I haven't started the video yet, and then oh yeah, before I knew it, they were having this like new character, this person, this woman that was like a YouTube employee, and he was trying, and they like Marty brought her, and he was like demanding YouTube to like acknowledge his case or whatever, and giving YouTube advice on how to improve, and it was like the stupidest thing ever. I don't even remember. He was talking shit to a cop that came to his house like days earlier or whatever. The fucking audacity. And I don't know. I'm not making any sense. I'm just trying to remember on top of my head because I'm trying to keep up with everything. And I'm acting like nobody knows already. Yeah, right. I'm like the last person who finds out about these things. The like 17 people that are going to be watching this, apart from Danny, if he's actually watching this. Are you watching? If you click the video, are you still watching? Tell me. You don't have to comment. You just tell me. Anyways, just tell me like later when I see you or whatever. He actually believed that person was an actual YouTube employee. Anyways, Under Ditch. I wanted to cover Under Ditch too. He really gets on my nerve, and I really want to cover him too. Talk about him a little bit. But moving on. Sidek. Who is he anyways? You remember him?
No.
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 No. Yes. I mean, no. No.
He's a very special cow. It's not really a lol cow. It's not really funny. It's not even interesting aside of his interest. If you just look at him, it just looks like a wannabe like rapper or something, like an average, super average like wannabe rapper, street artist, whatever. That's pretty much what he is. He's like a wannabe artist, a street artist. He's talented, but in that way that people are talented when they don't really stand out. They're just kind of boring talented. If I can explain myself, they're just like standard. Their talents are there, You can notice them, but they're kind of standard. They're kind of blend in with like so many other people that are exactly like that. You can argue that's pretty much every artist, including me to an extent. I guess I don't know. I want to think that that's not the case, but you're never the proper person to say that. It's always up to other people to say that. So he's boring. He's just like a whatever person that I wouldn't really be talking about if it wasn't for the fact that he. Let me explain. So yeah, he is a self-proclaimed painter and like street artist and like street dancer and ghetto rap type of dancer and probably a rapper. I'm not even sure. And all this stuff. He's actually skilled at his things, right? He has his style. You can see it right there, and everything. And he has a following, and like every good cow, he has a following, a niche of people that follow him. And for the most part, he always assumes it's for his work, right? For his art and whatever. And the reason why he has any kind of recognition at all is not because of that, really. Maybe he would have like my level of like subscribers, I guess. If he was just doing his like little shtick of like street art and all that shit. But the reason what brings people around, because he's not really a lol cow. He's more of a horror cow. He's not funny. He's actually cynical. He actually knows how to handle like trolls. He actually ignores them. If you troll him and if you try to mess with him, that will only encourage him. Trying to go after him and attacking him and talking about him like I'm doing right now actually validate his vanity and like there's a lot of things, a lot of very interesting things that you can talk about him. Sadly, very few positives, but he is very open and very aggressive into his fixation with little young 10-year-old girls. Specifically this one right here and some other one. He likes them when they're like 10. And he's very open and vocal about them. And he's very cynical about it. And if you try to go after him, he doesn't care. He doubles down and he goes in full detail about his fantasies. He goes after them. Like he tries to talk to them whenever they're always famous, and whenever they do like for example this one, that Gibby, I think, yeah, Gibby, and she's like a singer and whatever. I don't know anything about her. I don't really care. But she used to do like presentation, like musical, like acts or whatever she used to. But I don't know how she was. I don't know if she was like a YouTuber or she was like a TV celebrity or whatever. He's from Mexico. And he even went to the concerts and he has his full room of like everything that he can get on of the girls, right? Like pictures and merchandise, and he has like little Lala Loop like dolls to pretend like the dolls are them, so he can talk to them, and he goes in full detail about that. And if people like point that out and criticize him about that, and give him advice or just criticism or whatever, as I said, he doubles down and he becomes extremely cynical and obnoxious about it. And then they grow up and he loses interest. He's very special, our Sidek here. All of you, like from 14 to 21 people, 27 people, usually on average, that are kind of like gathered around here. I promise I will bring you more and explain more. You need to know about the dreams. The very explicit and uncomfortable dreams that he goes in full detail telling. You need to, man, I'll cover more about this. I'll promise. You'll have everybody else to cover everybody else. You'll have me to cover him. I can scar you for life even a little bit further than you already are if you're watching this. I mean, if you made it into this tensely minuscule channel in the middle of the abyss, something brought you here. We have something in common, anyways. I have something in common with him, actually. I have something in common with every fucking lolcow that I've ever seen. There's always something that we have in common. You do too, don't lie. But that's not the conversation, this conversation right now. I just realized that I've been talking for 20 minutes right now. I've been recording for 20 minutes and I haven't started the video, so let's get to it. So anyways, we're going to start with the latest that has been going on lately, so you can start getting an idea of what we're going to be dealing here, what kind of person he is, what that he does, and whatever, all of that, right? Okay, so I actually entered this channel like weeks ago when I originally thought about doing the video. And he was in the hospital. I just typed CDEC Life and boom, I saw it. It was like a couple of hours ago. He was in the hospital, and I was like, what the fuck? And turns out he had some kind of stomach illness caused by like stress or whatever. They took him to a hospital. He was like in kind of bad condition, and he was doing something that I kind of hated when people do. I wouldn't do it unless I was like demanded to do like record in the hospital. Sorry, maybe you do that. Sorry, but I hate it when people go to the hospital and like take pictures of them, like post it on social media, and they're like, you know, either pictures or videos or whatever. Like, oh, this happened to me, and like, but I'm better now, and whatever shit like that. Because I've been in the hospital. I was run over by a car once, and you never saw me doing that. You never saw me like posting in the hospital or anything like that. I have footage, but you never. That scar that maybe if you follow those videos, that scar that you see in my arm, it's from the car. So it's fishing for sympathy, and I don't like it. It's like making yourself the center of attention, and like fishing for sympathy using health is not just your health, your, I don't know, your race, your pretty much any kind of fishing for sympathy in general is cheap. It's very low, and I don't know, whatever. Any kind of stuff like that. For me, it's even lower. Maybe I'm pretty sure there are ways. There are specific situations where it's acceptable. You might be, hey, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? I post whenever I've been in surgery or ill at the hospital or going to the dentist or whatever. On my Facebook or Instagram or whatever a million times. Well, what can I tell you? I personally don't like it, and I'm pretty sure there are situations where it might be acceptable somehow. Maybe you're trying to be clever somehow, or maybe you want to make a joke, or I don't know. At the top of my head right now, I can't think of a situation where I find it not eye-rolling whenever I see somebody like posting shit like that. For me, the only valid way to obtain sympathy points, it's simply being yourself, being cool. And if people see who you are and they like you and they have sympathy for you, they're gonna do it. If you bring everybody up and if you are simply likable, it's a very abstract thing, yeah, but if you are simply likable, and if people genuinely like you because they see who you are and they simply accept you, they're gonna have sympathy for you, and that's the only acceptable kind of sympathy that I can accept. I don't know. Am I exaggerating? Am I a jerk? Sure, yeah, I am. But that is why I honestly think. Now, why do certain people do it? I have seen a pattern in people that usually do this. I said, maybe not everybody, because there's probably different type of excuses to do something like that, and it doesn't always have to be something negative, right? But the people that just like out of the blue just do stuff like that, usually, like sometimes unjustifiably so, like him here. It was nobody's business. It's nobody's business whenever you're in the doctor, whenever you're having an illness, whenever you had an accident, stuff like that. It's nobody's business. That's how I view it. And usually, whenever I have observed other people do stuff like that type of shit, it's usually people that want to make up for something. They feel like somehow they're not getting enough validation. They don't know how to be accepted, sympathetic, as plainly as that. Like sometimes I feel like they don't know how to be sympathetic. They ran out of ideas, and they sink to stuff like that, like this. And that is why, for example, a lot of people, when they have like a crush for somebody, right, and they don't know how to win that people over, and then they fake like an accident, an illness, or something that makes them look vulnerable, and like please care for me, please. How about no, I won't, you're welcome. And I don't know. I don't know. It's, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a psychologist or anything. I'm not a professional. Shocker, I know. That's how I view it. Change my mind. Sue me. Whatever. Fight me. But I still view it as likability for the weak. And he goes through all the details, like the all unnecessary detail. He shows the documents. Opposite to Boogie, right? He actually goes in full detail, showing every single minute thing about the papers. He actually shows them. He even makes like screenshots and everything. And he acts all casual about it. No, you're not casual about it, dude. You're very calculating. He's a smart guy. He's a fairly smart guy. I give him that. You usually need to be a fairly smart person in order to be effectively as manipulative as he is. So yeah, I give him that. I admit that about him. And he's fairly talented too. He's like mid to high talented, like in that sort of 6 out of 10, something like that, for my taste anyways. Everything that I've seen he does, like his dancing, his graffiti, his it's always the same story, right? Like you always hear a plane. Can you hear it? You always hear a plane in my videos, and you always hear my dog scratching himself. You hear it? Yeah, it's always the same shit. They're always a musician, a dancer, an artist. Like me. Gee, didn't I tell you I have things in common with the locals? Because I was the school's locale when I was in secondary school, primary school a little bit, secondary school especially. I was the Christian of the school. I'll admit it. I'm straightforward about it. I'm not scared about admitting shit like that. I feel it's okay. I feel it's a little bit of it's cathartic. It's liberating, especially when you have left those things behind. It's liberating. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. And also, fortunately, because I never went as far as these people go. Like I was always kind of quasi wise enough to know certain limits, so it's easier for me to just admit shit. I was most likely raised enough to at least know certain limits, at least, and that helped. I think. I mean, I'm sure it helped. I had a nature to just like kind of try to get along with people, and then mixed with the way I was raised. I wasn't raised perfectly or anything like that. There was a lot of issues, but still, that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean. I was still raised well enough. Apart from all the family issues that pretty much every family tends to have, at least in some point of their life, it still worked out, I think, at least well enough. But I'll tell cringe stories about myself. Don't worry about it. Anyways, yeah, so avoid pity parties. Yeah, there you go. Moral of the story. Anyways, there's a lot of shit I didn't watch. I don't know how interesting. He's pretty mundane for the most part. That's what happens. That's why I don't tune into everything he does, because he's usually kind of like boring and the most like mundane shit that you can imagine. And then boom, he talks about having that wet dream with like a 10-year-old girl, and you're like, whoa. You're like, what the fuck, dude? You didn't need to say that. You're like, that's messed up. That's wrong. What's wrong with you, dude? And that is what people are actually tuning into him. Like your average horror cow in this regard. Not a lol cow. It's more of a horror cow. Because none of the things that he does are actually funny. They're either creepy, or just perplexing, or just boring. So he's never actually funny. He's not humorous. There's nothing even light-hearted about him. I can use several words to describe him. Angry, stubborn, pretentious, talented, clever. Well, no, not clever. Smart. It's different. Unaware, cynical. What else can I use to describe him? Stuck up. I don't know. Manipulative. Creepy. Misguided. I don't know. There's a lot of things, but light-hearted words are not things that I can use to describe him. There's nothing humorous about him. It's not humorous. He's not laid back. He's not. It's not forgiving. Anyways, speaking of all that, the biggest recent highlight that I could find here was his live stream. He did a live stream doing like his clothes. He does clothes, like ghetto gangsta rap graffiti type of clothes that he does handmade, and they're cool. Whatever, they're okay. Not my style of clothes, but I can see a lot of people really digging shit like that. And again, he was pretty much like an average modern Christian live stream, like almost 1 hour of nothing, right? Just seeing him there, barely talking, just like talking about whatever, being boring, bringing up maybe one point here. There was like a couple of people there hanging out in the chat. I don't know if they're like trolls or anything. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. He has like 11,000 subscribers, but his view count is always like 100, 200 or something. 7 likes. That tells you right there what people are actually tuning in for the hate watch, waiting for him to say something creepy, or say something, pedo, shit like that. Because nobody really cares for the things that he actually does, his quote unquote art. Nobody really cares for that. Very few people do. I could see here and there in the comments or whatever, one person here, one other person there being genuine, actually liking the shit that he does. But if it wasn't for his preferences, nobody would care. It would be nobody. It would be like nothing. But he thinks that all of those followers are because of his art, right? It's because he's an artiste. And I can see people digging what he does, right? Like his colorful clothing, his colorful like Suicide Squad type of like sensibility. You know what I mean? Like that kind of aesthetic, that kind of aesthetic. Graffiti, neon, street type of shit. Like, yo, I ain't even knocking. I use very vibrant colors too whenever I work, and most of the things that I do are based on like the urban And they've always been for over a decade now. It's always been about like the the the, the, the urban like landfill here, the city here where I live in. We have that in common too, I guess, in a very different way, but like sort of similar, I guess. So I'm not even knocking, but that's not gonna stop me from saying it. Yeah, sue me. So he's doing his hoodie that he was going to use to work because he for a living he has a job like installing like glass windows or stuff like that. I'm not sure. He has videos about that. Again, as I said, he has to make everything the center of attention. Every single thing. What kind of sicko thing is that anyways? Like, I don't know, I don't get it. But every single aspect of his life has to be public and the center of attention. His work, everything. His clothes there that he's doing. You can see, again, even this fact of the way that he dresses himself extremely vibrantly. That's cool and everything. But that also tells that you like being the center of attention. Nothing wrong with that, except when you mix everything else about a person, and then you can start to actually tell if that's a negative or a positive. In his case, it's a little bit inclined out of negative. Nothing wrong with the way he likes to dress. Look at the way I like to dress. I mean, oh my fucking god, man. I usually, for the most part, just dress like a fucking NPC. I know how to dress good. I have kind of cool clothes here and there. Nice clothes here and there. I have a pair of shoes that are kind of nice. And I barely ever wear them. But for the most part, yeah, I'm the embodiment of like casual Friday. Anyways, it was pretty much almost an hour of him saying nothing relevant or interesting. There was a point where he was complaining about the algorithm because sometimes if you use strength like that and you bite it, it looks like a footage of somebody doing drugs, and the algorithm takes you down because they think you're showing something else. Wink, wink. And he was complaining about that, and he was like complaining about the algorithm like not being smart enough. That's something that he does a lot, demanding people to be smarter. A lot of times, people when they demand shit like that, oh my god, I'm pretty sure you're already like sick of me giving these analogies. Like, if you're even watching, nobody's watching up to this point. So, yeah, like doing all these fucking smart ass analogies. Oh well, this is what I do. Sorry. Get used to me saying a lot of times I see people. Yeah, I just noticed that it probably sounds obnoxious after a while, as obnoxious as the plane passing by. I hope you can't really hear it as loud as I can. It probably sounds obnoxious now that I think about it. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. A lot of people, whenever I hear them really, 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 really being that pesky and that angry about people, like demanding people to be smarter, they do it to put other people down and to just like criticize people and to make themselves seem smarter, right? And a lot of times I've seen that those kind of people, it's not really that they want people to be smarter. It's more like they want people or things to do what they want. And if you don't do what they're expecting you to know to do, or they just want you to do, they take it as you or it not being smart, right? Be smart, bro. You should know, like, dude, you should know I'm expecting this. You should know I demand this. Because they were raised to be used to people just bending to their demands, right? Whatever need or anything that they had, they needed to be attended no matter what. Sometimes I feel that it could even be that they lacked that attention or got too much of it. It's usually because they got too much of it. A lot of times where people grow up having this notion of having a lack of attention or some kind of nurturing or something, a lot of times it's because they had so much of it that it's never enough. But I'm not 100% sure of his upbringing, so I'm not gonna say either one. But yeah, as I said, a lot of times it's aggressive people expecting you to just know out of the blue and just like dedicate yourself to just attend what they are expecting. And if you can't accomplish that, they insult you by telling you that you're dumb, that you should be smarter than that. It's usually very picky people, very demanding people, people that get really upset about any kind of nitpick, and I see that he does that a lot. Oh yeah, that one last thing, the homeless guy, and we leave it at that for now, because it's something that bugs me too. Huh, what do you know? Shocker. Another thing that bugs me about him.
What, Nanny? Something that bugs you about Sidek? Gee wee.
Yeah. The thing is, it seems harmless enough, right? I almost look right now like I'm overreacting, right? Like I'm making too much deal here about this fairly innocuous thing, actually kind of positive thing about him. He's being altruistic, he's helping others. Yeah, what's wrong about that? Nothing, really. There's nothing wrong in helping other people. Or the contrary. And to an extent, I can almost guarantee that part of him is doing this actually genuinely, like he actually wants to help other people. I feel that part is true in part. What bugs me is the way he's doing it. What bugs me is you doing something like this in order to get, as I was talking about earlier, sympathy points. That's where you lose for me all the score, pretty much. As I was stating earlier too, I'm not gonna say if I do or have done like altruistic or like I feel that that's private and that's my business, and I'm not gonna discuss that. But I am going to say that if you are going to do stuff like that, you keep your mouth shut about it. You don't make it public like that. Because for me, I'm pretty sure for a lot of people I'm being too harsh, but for me, you lose all the scores. You lose like all the meaning about it. Like then you're not really doing it for others. You're doing it for yourself. There can be examples. I know. Okay, I know. Like for example, I don't know. Let me see. For example, somebody posting on social media, posting themselves rescuing animals, right? Because there's a problem in the city of stray cats, stuff like that, and you're posting there because you're like, here, I'm rescuing animals, I have a shelter, if you want to work something out, call me, right? Maybe we could work together. Maybe you can adopt an animal. Maybe you can, I don't know, maybe we can work something out with the shelter to make this problem go away. I feel that, okay, that's justifiable, right? But I feel that just going out and flexing your virtue, your goodness out there, so that people can see it and just kind of see how good you are, right? I don't know, that rubs me the wrong way, that bugs me. This reminds me of this magazine I saw years ago, a long time ago. It's an art magazine, and I saw this article about this artist. I don't remember his name, but I wouldn't say it anyways. But the thing is, he was awarded with like a big prize money, right? And like recognition and blah blah blah, blah. As Mexico's, it was a Mexican magazine, as Mexico's most creative artist, and because he did a piece like in the border, like this shelf thing with his name and everything, right, where people could like put like food and shit for the migrants going through there. And again, this was like a known piece made by him, signed by him, everything. It was like public that, it was like he made that, and he was like awarded like Mexico's most creative artist. And I was like, that's kind of bullshit. And I know that that sounds wrong, even though I don't like to call myself an artist. I am an artist because that's like the only the only practical way that you can call me to referring to what I do, artist. So there, I have coped with that, but I don't like to call myself an artist. But yeah, okay. I know that comes out as kind of jealous, probably. That's not it. That what thing that rubbed me the wrong way about that was that piece was very strategic, right? To make himself look good, right? I feel that if you were going to do something altruistic, quote unquote altruistic like that, you wouldn't have signed it. You wouldn't have made it public. You just would have done it and shut up about it, get on with your life, and call it a day. That was what rubbed me the wrong way about that. That was like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this thing. No. And well, that's what it was. That wasn't even creative. That was like political more than anything. That wasn't even creative. What's so creative about that? Anybody can do something like that. You're just praising yourself. Is this about the people or about you? Who gets the bigger piece of cake in all of this? You or the people that you quote unquote helped? You see? Like him here. He's recording himself going to some place where there's this homeless guy. And there's a whole other thing about homeless people. If you have dealt with homeless people the way I have, I'm not gonna go into detail about that, but you would know that it's not as black and white as the situation about homeless people. It's not just as, oh, they're poor, those people, because they're homeless. They're good because they're homeless, and you need to just give them everything because they're homeless. It's more complex than that. I'm just gonna say, in order to not make this like last forever, I'm just gonna say that if you really want to know the situation or of a homeless person, the reason why they are homeless, go and try to meet them not as an activist, not as this person who is trying to to show their suffering or whatever. Just let them know you as just a person, just as a nobody. You get the real story that way. If you don't, if you go with like cameras, or you go as a journalist or as an activist or whatever, you're just gonna hear a sob story that is half true. So don't do that. Anyways, and I have heard shit. Living in a city that has such a big problem with homeless people and drifters and criminals and stuff like that, and given the circumstances in which I have experienced over my life, and the kind of people that I have met over my life, and whatever, I can tell you that. Anyways, moving on. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So yeah, he's going there and he records himself like giving him money, I think, and like buying him like water and food and shit. And he's like, look, and the name of the video is like helping people #1. And he plans to do this as a series. Very funny that he's doing that nowadays. Now he has gotten so much hate over his preferences, and that he's starting to do this now. As I said, judging by what I have seen about him, I'm pretty sure that part of him is genuine about just helping others, because he probably actually grew up with the idea of being cool and like helping others. Probably, I'm not doubting that completely, but what I don't like is that he's using this as again as a sympathy card to show other people, look, I'm very good. I'm actually better than you. I'm very good. You should be good like me too. Because he's like, always like, he ends his video with like, hey, people, remember to help other people and like whatever. We remember to help the needed and the needy and shit like that. You all know this story. It's the same thing that happens with the charity companies and all these charity enterprises and the people that go along with all that shit. You know that like 90% of all the charity money goes to all the people handling all that shit. and then like 10% is like, oh yeah, here you can have the scraps. It's a very similar phenomenon to this, what he's doing right here. Nothing really that remarkable happened. It was just him recording himself, asking him what he wanted, and being like, oh no, don't worry about it, I'll get you whatever you want. And like the guy trying to repay him, giving him some DVDs, and he doesn't accept them because he says he doesn't even have a DVD player or anything like that. And yeah, it was only that. One last thing, and I'll call it a day, and I'll call it a video. One last thing. If you have like homeless people that know where you live and go and ask you for something in your house, like where you live, I'm not saying they're trying to break into your house, just like knocking and asking you for something, never give them anything. Never. You know why? Because you never hear the end of it. Every single fucking day from there on, every single time they want something, they're gonna go and pester you. And at first it sounds cool and whatever, but later on you're not gonna be able to get rid of them, and it's gonna get worse, and the problem is gonna grow, and you're gonna have more people and more people and more people over. You never hear the end of it. Never do it. If you're gonna help like homeless people, do it away from anyways. If you're gonna do it though, put your foot down, establish a limit. No, let them know very perfectly. Sometimes you have to be stern about it. Let them know that this is not gonna be a forever thing. This is a once in a while kind of thing. They can't depend on you, because homeless people a lot of times are just lazy, are just people who are lousy and lazy, and they were escaping something they left from their family and their home, and they just didn't want it to go back and face those things. They preferred to just stay on the street and face the fucking darkness and the abyss, the fucking oblivion and the doom of living in the streets, instead of just going back and facing shit. A lot of times, not always, they have all sorts of backgrounds, but for the most part, that's usually the case. They want to be there because they rather be there than just be responsible for whatever they did, what was happening. And it's basically a non-lethal suicide. That's pretty much how I can describe it. You don't really end yourself, but you sort of do, and they rather have that than go back. That's all I'm gonna say. Do I have anything else to say? I don't know. I don't think so. So yeah, bye. Oh yeah, I'll post about his dreams soon. Yes, entire videos about full detail, agonizing detail about his dreams with 10-year-olds and with like little girls. I'll post about that soon. Okay, yeah. What now? Bye.